Hey everybody, this is GGB. We're going to be getting college basketball upset today, Wednesday edition, guys, and I killed it. Let's go. So, those of you who didn't watch yesterday's episode, I picked Kentucky to be upset by Michigan State. That was my big upset of the day. And my logic was, I was considering taking Duke over Kansas. I was very much considering it. I'm like, okay, I need to make up for the half a point I lost on Monday. I'm going to go for the risk. I'm going to risk the biscuit. And I'm going to take Michigan State over Kentucky, and let's freaking go. Michigan State had one of the best games I've ever seen. Their ability... Kentucky had multiple chances to shut this game out, right? Like, they had the ball up by 1 point with, 15 seconds left. You make both your free throws, you make it a three-point game, and make it very hard for Michigan State to win. They had that two different chances, once in regulation and once in overtime. They blew both of those, only made one of the free throws, and they played some poor defense, which allowed wide open dunks from Michigan State. One of them was a brilliant out of bounds play. Actually, both of them were brilliant out of bounds plays by Michigan State. Regardless, they got wide open dunks. One in overtime. Oscar Tshiebwe fouled out in overtime. The first overtime, which meant the double overtime, they didn't have Oscar Tshiebwe, which allowed Michigan State to get stuff going at the rim, which allowed them to win that game. To be fair, that was not the only upset yesterday, and I feel like I'm as excited as I am about it. I'm not giving any attention to the other upset of the day, which we had yesterday at 11 o'clock. Dayton was upset by UNLV. It was at UNLV, but Dayton was upset by the Running Rebels. They pulled off the upset. It was not as big of an upset as Michigan State over Kentucky. Michigan State was 7-point dogs. UNLV was 4-point dogs. So, not as significant as an upset. But today, we have 5 top 25 teams playing today. Actually, 6 top 25 teams playing today. There's 5 games involving top 25 teams. We'll go over them real quick. There's 2 of them that I think are legitimate. You could do a risk on one of them as well. So, at 6 o'clock, we have number 20, Michigan is 2-0, traveling to Pitt. Or actually, not traveling to Pitt. They're going to be playing on a neutral court. Pitt's 1-1. Michigan favored by 9.5 points on ESPNU. At 7 o'clock, we have Florida Gulf Coast University, who's 2-1, traveling to number 22, Tennessee. Tennessee's 2-1, and Tennessee favored by 22 points on the SEC Network Plus. 8 o'clock, we got Texas Southern, who's 1-2, traveling to number 3, Houston, who's 3-0. Houston favored 28.5 points on ESPN Plus in an upset that I think is the least likely of the ones today. 8 o'clock, you got South Dakota State, who's 1-1, traveling to number 9, Arkansas is 2-0. Arkansas is favored by 14 points on SEC Network Plus, and at 9:30 we got number 2 Gonzaga, who's 2-0, traveling to number 11 11 Texas, who's also 2-0. Texas favored by 2 points on ESPN2. So here, I think is probably one of the more I think the 2 I'm talking about are obvious. I think 9:30 is obviously the one everyone's thinking of when you think of upset. Perfect upset, right? It's on the road. Texas gets the home court advantage. Not only that, they're favored by 2 points. Number 2 Gonzaga hasn't been the best here early. Michigan State definitely exploited some of their flaws. And if you're Texas, you study that game film, and you could see that you can win that one. I think an underrated one was going to be Michigan playing Pitt. Now, Pitt's not the greatest to start the season, but Michigan has struggled here early on. They struggled to put Eastern Michigan until very late. And less than 5 minutes left to go in the game, Eastern Michigan was very, very much still in that basketball game. So I think there are some weaknesses for Michigan, although I don't think Pitt can really exploit them. I think everyone else is pretty obvious that I'm not going to take them. I think Florida Gulf Coast University over Tennessee, it would be a stretch, but Tennessee has lost to Colorado, who lost to Grambling State. I mean, it's crazy. But Florida Gulf Coast has a chance, not the greatest chance, but they do have a chance. South Dakota State isn't an awful basketball squad, and I think they do have a chance against number 9 Arkansas. The chance I think that we have least likely is Texas Southern over number 3 Houston. That is never going to happen in a million years. I think I'm obviously going to go with Texas over Gonzaga. There's a lot of reasons to pick. The Longhorns are actually a good basketball team. Chris Beard is an excellent head coach. And while Gonzaga is a really good basketball team with an excellent head coach too, I think it's a 50-50 shot. And honestly, that's better than you get in most upsets you're going to have to take. I think there's arguments to be made about other ones outside of Texas, Southern, Houston. And if you wanted to take a real risk, you would pick one of the other ones. But I already got 1.5 points from yesterday. I only need to hit 4. So I feel like if Texas does not upset Gonzaga, I'm going to be at least gifted half a point, which would set me up with 2. I'm hoping Texas beats Gonzaga. I could be setting up myself for 3 points, which would almost guarantee me a victory this week. I'm going to go with the Longhorns at home to beat Gonzaga.